So I stroll downstairs in my underwear, just to see what's going on. And I get down there, and this guy comes out of my kitchen at me. And this is L. Cool J breaking down the night a shooter tried to take him out in his own home. Joler vanished without a trace. After years of dead ends and cold leads, they finally caught this fool hiding out. But when he started talking, he revealed who ordered the hit and why. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, August 22nd, 2012, and the streets of Studio City are dead quiet. You know how it is in them suburban neighborhoods where the money at. Everything peaceful. Manicured lawns, security cameras on every corner, and gates that keep the riffraff out. But on this particular night, one career criminal was about to learn the hardest lesson of his life. Just because a rapper lives in the suburbs don't mean he went soft. My alarm went off at 1 in the morning. And not to the alarm, but the entry delay. And I scroll through it, family room. And I said to my wife, family room? I'm thinking maybe my daughters are coming in. So I stroll downstairs in my underwear, just to see what's going on. And I get down there, and this guy comes out of my kitchen at me. And I detained him. That's L. Cool J, real name James Todd Smith, breaking down how he went from peaceful family man to straight-up vigilante in the span of about 30 seconds. But see, this ain't just some random celebrity home invasion story. This is about what happens when street knowledge meets suburban security, when hood instincts clash with gated community comfort, and when a dude who's been keeping it 100 his whole career gets tested in the realest way possible. Joler wasn't no amateur when it came to this criminal life. At 56 years old, this cat had been running the streets for decades, building up a rap sheet longer than a receipt that included everything from voluntary manslaughter to multiple burglary charges. We talking about a hooligan who caught a body back in '88 in Dallas, plus mad burglaries, gun charges, and all types of street violations that showed he was about that life. What makes this whole situation even more grimy is the timing. Joler had just gotten out the joint on February 1st, 2012, just 6 months before he tried to run up an LL spot. Fresh out the pen, probably desperate, definitely hungry, and looking at them Hollywood Hills like it's his personal ATM. Some cats get out and try to go straight, but others come home hungrier than when they left. When I went down to actually sat in a room full of some of America's top soldiers and had long conversations with them because my character is a former Navy SEAL. Once they educate you, they can't take it back.
The irony is crazy when you really think about it. Here's LL playing a federal agent on TV, learning all types of tactical moves and hand-to-hand combat for his role on NCIS. And then life said, bet, let's see if you're really about it. LL's crib in Studio City represented everything that street cats like Kirby feel like they've been locked out of. The big house, the security system, the family living comfortably behind gates. Word on the street was that Kirby had been casing other spots in the neighborhood. This wasn't no crime of opportunity. This was planned, calculated, and targeted. When Kirby breached the perimeter and triggered that alarm system, LL had to make a split-second decision that would define everything about who he really was. See, anybody can talk tough when they in the studio, when they got bodyguards around, when they safe in their comfort zone. But when it's 1 a.m., you in your drawers, your family sleeping upstairs, and some strangers in your kitchen, that's when you find out what you really made of. Most suburban cats would have called 911 and hid in a panic room, hoping the police get there before the intruder make it upstairs. But LL Cool J went straight into hunter mode like he was back in Queens dealing with neighborhood beef instead of some celebrity living in Cali.
I think I did what any man would do, or what most men would do, which is do whatever you got to do to protect your family.
LL wasn't moving off pure adrenaline and street instincts alone. For months leading up to this, he'd been getting schooled by some of the most elite warriors on the planet for his NCIS role. The confrontation that went down wasn't no brief tussle or lucky punch situation. L engaged in what witnesses called a knockdown, drag-out fight. When the smoke cleared, Kirby was laid out with a broken nose, busted jaw, and fractured ribs.
Police statement had your real name, James Todd Smith, and it said Mr. Smith was unhurt. After the altercation, the burglar suffered a broken jaw, broken cheek, broken nose, and broken ribs.
That damage report tells the whole story right there. This wasn't no mutual combat. This was a complete domination. The visual of LL standing over Kirby, holding him down until the police arrived, is some straight-up urban legend material. Here's a dude who spent his whole career talking about being the hardest in the game, and when it was time to prove it for real, he delivered in the most definitive way possible. No weapons, no backup, no security team, just hands and heart when it mattered most. The official statement from LL's people was measured and respectful. LL Cool J and his family are safe, and thank everyone for their thoughts and concerns. But between the lines, the message was much simpler. Try us if you want, but we ready for whatever. What made this story resonate so heavy in the streets and beyond was that it validated everything LL had been saying about himself for decades. This wasn't just some celebrity who hired the right publicist to make him seem tough. This was a real demonstration of authentic street credibility that you can't fake or manufacture.
LL's beef history. while the whole world was celebrating LL Cool J catching that body, real hip-hop heads knew this wasn't the first time Uncle L had to show cats he wasn't the one to test. Throughout his legendary run in the game, LL had been in some of the most vicious lyrical wars in rap history. These weren't just rap battles for entertainment. These were straight-up territorial disputes over who really ran the culture. The most brutal and personal war LL ever fought was against a young, hungry lyricist named Cannabis, who made the fatal mistake of trying to son the king. LL responded with devastating bars and eventually squashed the beef at a Brooklyn event. His war with Ice-T represented East Coast versus West Coast tension. Kool Moe Dee, Tupac, Jay-Z, each conflict taught LL mental warfare and respect for authentic street rules. After years of preparation, experience, and surviving childhood trauma, LL was more than ready for the night Kirby tried to violate his home. He became the protector, the one with the power to stop the threat and secure his family's safety. The 2012 home invasion was just another chapter in a life forged by real-life challenges and the discipline to survive. Despite controversies from accidental racist backlash to Love Benji claims, LL Cool J has evolved without compromising his principles. He continues to navigate hip-hop, Hollywood, and public life with authenticity and wisdom, proving that credibility, preparation, and respect for real rules matter above all else. LL Cool J's credibility wasn't just about surviving the streets or Hollywood drama. It was about proving that every step, every decision, every move had been built on experience and preparation. That night with Kirby wasn't a fluke. It was the culmination of decades of discipline, trauma, training, and street wisdom. He didn't just defend his family. He proved a lifetime of lessons had prepared him for anything. The broken bones, the hospital visits, the chaos, it all served as a reminder that LL's toughness wasn't performance, wasn't hype. This was a man who had walked through fire, faced enemies in the studio and the streets, and emerged standing every single time. From his early life in Queens to the Hollywood Hills, LL Cool J carried the same code: protect yours, respect the rules, and never back down when tested. Even outside violence, his battles shaped him. The rap wars taught mental resilience, the TV and movie roles taught tactical awareness, and childhood trauma instilled hypervigilance and a deep protective instinct. When the stakes got real, when the alarm went off at 1 a.m. and Kirby appeared in his kitchen, LL Cool J wasn't just a celebrity. He was a veteran, a strategist, a man whose life had been training him for exactly that moment. And he didn't fail. Kirby got handled, family stayed safe, reputation intact, credibility validated. Every punch, every maneuver, every instinct that night traced back to years of preparation and experience. That's why the streets and fans alike respected the story. This wasn't entertainment. This was reality, proving that the man behind the music had lived the life he rapped about. LL Cool J's life has been filled with controversies, conspiracies, and public scrutiny, but the key difference between him and others is his ability to learn and evolve. Mistakes like Accidental Racist or the Love Benji saga didn't define him, they refined him. He used lessons from failures, criticism, and backlash to grow stronger, smarter, and more grounded. His philosophy is simple: don't get trapped in the past, don't dwell on what's done, focus on building, evolving, and preparing for the future. That mindset has allowed LL to stay relevant in hip-hop, Hollywood, and in life, showing that authentic strength isn't just physical, it's mental, emotional, and strategic. Today, LL Cool J continues to inspire. From returning to rap in his late 50s with albums like The Force, to mentoring younger artists, to standing for causes he believes in, he demonstrates that longevity in any field, hip-hop, entertainment, or life, requires balance, wisdom, and readiness. He's not just surviving, he's thriving, teaching everyone that credibility is earned, not given. The Studio City incident is more than just a celebrity home invasion story. It's the ultimate proof of LL's evolution, from a kid shaped by trauma in Queens to a family man, entertainer, and legend who handles real threats with precision, courage, and intelligence. That night wasn't luck, it was life experience meeting opportunity, and LL Cool J passed the test in every way possible. Every chapter of LL Cool J's life feeds into the legend he became. From the violent streets of Queens to the corporate studios of Hollywood, every experience sharpened his instincts. The same hands that crafted rhymes, hosted TV shows, and acted in blockbuster movies were the same hands that defended his family that night in Studio City. It was proof that authenticity can't be faked. Years of discipline, trauma, and street knowledge manifesting when it mattered most. The Kirby incident also reinforced a simple truth in LL's world. Respect is earned, not assumed. Every rap battle, every industry confrontation, every public feud was a lesson in credibility. Whether it was his lyrical war with cannabis, the East Coast versus West Coast tensions with Ice-T, or generational clashes with Mod D, LL learned how to navigate conflict while maintaining composure. Those battles were more than entertainment. They were training grounds for real-life challenges. Life had already taught him lessons that no Hollywood script could replicate. Witnessing domestic violence at 4 years old, losing trust in those closest to him, and surviving constant street challenges built a hypervigilance that would later save his family. That early trauma became a blueprint for survival, a foundation of instincts that were tested and proven that August night in 2012. And LL's evolution wasn't just physical, it was mental and strategic. Training with Navy SEALs for NCIS, refining combat